Today, I'm reviewing the Hidizs MS2 Pro Hybrid Dual Driver IM. The bass is back, baby! What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews, and these are the shells of the MS2 Pro. Have a look at those. So we've got these polished zinc alloy shells with a mirror finish, and then there's this sort of faux leather covering on the faceplate, which supposedly is designed to look like rhino skin. Apparently these were inspired by rhinoceros horns. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, but you could also think that they might have been inspired by something else. I don't know. Probably just a coincidence. I don't want to start any conspiracy theories. They are different enough, especially with that leather covering on there. But let's talk about pricing real quick. Now, the retail price for these is, I believe, $99 US. However, there is a limited flash deal. These will be available for $69. That's 30% off. Or even aside from that, there's a launch promo as well. You can get them for $79. That's 20% off. And there are deals all over the place. I'm not sure how long they will last, but if you get in early on that flash deal, $69 or $79. So inside of here, we've got one 10.2mm dynamic driver and one Hidizs silver core balanced armature driver. This is what the cable looks like. It's pretty standard Hidizs style cable with that distinctive brown color. Nothing special. It's functional. It does the job. I will also mention that these shells are really comfortable. They feel really nice in my ears. I've wore them all day today just about, and felt great. But you know what time it is now. It is all about the audio, how these sound. So let's get into it. First of all, I will say they've got a very low impedance. Well, not super low, but a low impedance of 17 ohms. And if my memory serves me correctly, 111 dB sensitivity. So these are, in other words, these are really easy to drive. You can plug them into any audio source and you should have more than enough power on tap. So at the start of the video, I said the bass is back, and I meant it. Hello, thank you, Hidizs. Look, this anemic sound signature trend seems to be maybe not ending, but it's less popular than it was for the last couple of years. Recently, we've seen a couple of IMs bringing that mid bass back. The first one that comes to mind is the Sivga Chue UTG. That had a lot of mid bass and a lot of really forward, full-bodied upper mid-range. These don't have quite as much, but they do have a nice full mid-bass, and on top of that, they have some pretty good sub-bass extension too, and it's a nice linear transition from the sub-bass to the mid-bass, so it is a nice full-bodied sound, but excellent control. That nice big driver, slightly larger than average at 10.2 millimeters. So if you are after neutrality, if you want to be one of those neutrality purist people, then you would hate these probably. But if you're looking for something that's fun and full-bodied and got some bass in it, yeah, this is the ticket. So basically these have an energetic and a powerful sound. It's characterized by the boosted bass response. It's well north of neutral, but it's not outrageous. I wouldn't really call them a basshead IEM. Well, you could. It depends on what you consider basshead levels of low frequencies. But these are in the fun zone, but still well behaved. It's not going to rattle your skull, but it will surprise you and reward you with some richness and saturation. They're not all about the bass though, even though it does have a nice rich warm tonality. It is balanced with a tastefully enhanced treble, and that treble helps maintain articulation and definition. And I should mention at this point that these do come with 3 sets of tuning filters or tuning nozzles. There is a red, a white, and a black one. And just let me say, the red and the black are pretty much the same, pretty much indistinguishable, very, very subtle changes. However, the white one is a bit different. It adds a little bit of extra lift in the presence region, or in that 2 to 3 kilohertz region. Apart from that, very, very similar across the three filters. The ones I've been using are the red, which, if I remember correctly, were the default ones that were already installed when I took these out of the box. But anyway, let's have a look at the graph, and the dotted line you see there is the Harman 2019 in-ear target, and the red line is the MS2 Pro. So I've already covered the bass pretty much. It is a really fun bass. It has great sub-bass rumble, got nice mid-bass punch, and bass guitars and cellos and lower piano notes, etc. have got a nice, rich, saturated but not overly thick sound. Plenty of body there, so male vocals sound nice and powerful. Female vocals sound sultry, but they do have enough lift. They don't sound distant. And the mid-range in general sounds pretty forward. I guess you could call these a W-shaped sound signature. In terms of treble, it's not the airiest up top, but the treble extension is quite good. I will say it is a very smooth treble. It doesn't sound sibilant at all, and it does not sound brittle or, artificial or scratchy. And it's not overly bright, but there is definitely enough treble presence to counterbalance that added bass. And I think what this tuning does, basically, it kind of fixes the Harman target. And I know that's just my subjective view, but in my opinion, the 2019 Harman in-ear target is just a bit stale, sterile, and dry and hollow in the lower mids and the upper bass. These fix that. It will be too much bass for some listeners, but for me, I just find these really fun and enjoyable. Music sounds great. It's a very engaging sound signature. But in terms of technical performance, these actually do very well. The resolution is fantastic, as is the instrument separation. There is no treble glare, no treble halo casting a glare over the sound. Imaging is nice and precise, so you can hear exactly where things are within the stage. Great for gaming as well. These are really fun for gaming, especially if it's a game with explosions. There's plenty of physical impact there. Really good technical performance from here. The soundstage isn't really wide, but it is nicely rounded. So it's a nice natural feeling space that these create. And I just find them overall really enjoyable. In fact, these at the moment, I would say probably, let me just think about this. These, I would say, are on par with any of my other favorite IEMs in that sort of $50 to $100 range. So we've got the Z Reviews Just Ear Defiant. There is the Shanling Audio Tino, which is, in my opinion, an underrated IEM. You've got the Sivka Q or Chue and the Sivka Chue UTG. Those two have a sort of more unusual sound signature that won't appeal to as many people, but they are great nonetheless. You've got the Simgot EA500LM in that price range. Of course, the Truth Ear Pure, which is another fantastic IEM. And finally, you've got the Kafine Delchi and the Arty T10, which I haven't heard much talk about lately, but it's still a fantastic IEM. So check that one out, the Arty T10. But the Hidizs MS2 Pro, this is a really solid IEM. If you can get this at the $69 or $79 special price point, that's an absolute steal. I highly recommend it. Even at $99, it's still worth the money. It's still a very good IEM. It's a bit more boisterous and outgoing than a lot of the other ones that I mentioned. I'd say the closest that comes to it out of the ones I just talked about would probably be the Z Reviews X Just Ear Defiant IEM, which is a really lovely IEM, especially in terms of aesthetics, but I might even give these a slight edge over that, or at least they're very on a level playing field with each other. So that, guys, is the Hidizs MS2 Pro. It will be available as of tomorrow, which is the 7th of August. So if you're looking for something with a bit of extra bass, a bit of fun, and a nice rich sound, then check these out. time to wrap it up. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Pa Family Audio File Style. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.